So Skinamarink is by far the most contentious movie this year. I thought Beau Was Afraid would be, but this weird little concoction of like grainy footage and night terror stripped that crown right off Ari Aster's head. I've never seen a film be simultaneously on so many horror films' best of the year list and worst of the year lists. So, whatever camp you fall into, you're going to catch some heat. The best way to work out if you're going to like this movie is probably this. Oh my god, this movie is so spooky. Something spooky is happening right now in front of me. Well, it's a horror movie. I would like to see what's happening. No, we can't. There's no way to show you. We don't have the technology yet to show you just how spooky. But you have to trust us. This is really spooky. Well, I've put on a horror movie. I'd really like to watch this horror movie. Like, obviously, if there's something spooky, I want to see it. I would love to show you, but I can't. It's too scary. You're just gonna have to use your imagination. And I'm telling you, it's so spooky. It's so spooky. We can't even tell you how spooky it is. Welcome back. If you liked that, you're probably going to like Skinamarink. You are the prime audience. If that bored you to tears, skip this one, little homie. I'm going to be honest, I was in the latter category. I wanted to like this movie, but it bored me. I want to make it very, very, very clear, though. I get why people like this movie. I do. I just don't like this movie. This movie is like one of those old I Spy books where you're given a picture of like a bunch of weird unrelated items and you have to work out where the stuff is you're looking for within them. It's like that, except the picture in this book is overexposed and it was taken on a fucking calculator. Honestly, I will say if you were scared of the dark or had nightmares as a kid, this movie will likely get to you. There's not much to talk about in terms of plot, but the wafer-thin plot of Skinamarink is basically two young kids, Kevin, who is 4, and Kaylee, who is 6, wake up in the middle of the night to find that their father is missing, and the house is shifting and evolving in strange and unexplained ways. Side note, I actually loved editing the trailer for this video because usually I spend ages agonizing over which bit to use of a trailer to avoid spoilers. It's hard to spoil a movie with a plot like this, so thank you very much, Skinamarink, for making this trailer edit very easy on me. Enjoy the trailer.
In this house, in this house, in this house.
Yeah, so if you thought, what the fuck was that trailer? The whole movie's like that. So you have been warned. Now, I want to make it very clear again, I absolutely love that this movie exists. Horror, by its nature, is subjective. What scares me may not scare you. I fucking hate chimps. They freak me out with their creepy little hands and like superhuman strength. Some people love chimps, and those people are weird, and they should be isolated from the rest of society until they can recover some more of their sanity, because fucking chimps. I'm kidding. Mostly. But that just goes to show that we need the horror spectrum to be as wide and varied as possible, because when everyone watches a movie, they get something different out of it. This movie will be someone's own happy little slice of cinematic emotional trauma. Aww. It's just not mine. It didn't work for me. Skinamarink has definitely hit something primal in people, though, because people fucking love it. People champion this movie online. I think if you find this movie scary, has a lot to do with how the director, Kyle Edward Ball, puts us back into the mindset we were when we were kids. The kids are having a really bad time in this movie, and they act accordingly, that you can see. I think a lot of the scares come from people's inherent fear of the dark, their nightmares, and what lurks there. I get why people champion this movie, and I get why people can find it scary. It just bored the shit out of me. This movie is an hour and 40 minutes long, and for about an hour and 39 minutes of that, you don't get to see anyone's face or a shot where the action is in frame. All of the shots in this movie are taken by the world's most infuriating world star onlooker. Like, the fight's going on in front of you, but all you see is, like, the fucking person's filming's feet or the corner of a room, and you've got to try to juice from the sounds and the dialogue, if you can hear it, what is happening. This is less of a movie and more of like a cinematic art installation. That being said, it did unlock a core memory in me as the old Disney film Presto Changeo plays on a loop in this movie, and I used to watch that all the time as a kid, and I thought I'd fucking made it up. Seriously, I thought I'd imagined it, because it never gets brought up and I've never seen it anywhere. But nope, it's real and it's in this. And by God, is the rabbit in this the cuntiest rabbit of all time. Like, if you thought Bugs Bunny was a real piece of work, this fucking rabbit, man, in Presto Changeo, go watch the whole thing, it's on YouTube. But yeah, I thought I made that shit up, and I sent it to my brother, and he was like, fuck, I remember this. So, thanks for that, Kyle. Listen, he knows what he's doing. The director knows what he's doing. He knows how to feed on your childhood. I just wish that the techniques he used to make this movie weren't so abstract. Like, Blair Witch was quite abstract when it came out. This is almost not a film. It's almost like ASMR, horror ASMR. My partner kept walking past while I was watching this, and after like the third or fourth time, she was like, why are you watching weird security cam footage on YouTube? That's sort of what this movie looks like. Like, if you're not watching this movie and you're just getting glimpses, that's probably what you'd think I was doing. Just watching weird, grainy, shitty 1990s security cam footage. I had to Google the plot of this movie after I watched it because it felt like the camera was kept turning away, so I missed pretty much everything that was happening. Which is, once again, that's on purpose. This movie makes you, like, squint, and it makes you lean in to hear anything. But I couldn't for the fucking life of me, even with all my senses engaged, deduce what was happening or why it was happening. If you are intrigued and unsure if you want to pay the steep investment of time to watch this movie, I would suggest you watch the first 5 minutes of this movie and then skip to 37 minutes in and pick it back up. You lose absolutely zero plot by doing that, and you get all the scary bits for only like an hour's time investment. That's much more reasonable to me. Like, if this was an hour, I'd probably recommend it more. Once again, I don't know if it's an endorsement for any movie to say, hey, if you skip 35 minutes of it, fucking good film. But it does make the admission price easier to swallow. So I think if you are, like, I wanted to see this movie just because I was like, well, fucking so many people like this movie. Surely it's got something going for it. If it was an hour, I wouldn't feel as, like, pissed off with the ending. Also, watch this movie with headphones because it's got really, really faint audio and it's got selective subtitles. Like, it's got subtitles, but only like every third piece of dialogue is subtitled. And because the camera's not centered on what's happening, it's literally off pointing to some fucking corner, you don't really get any contextual clues either. It's almost like someone's just whispering to you in your ear while you watch a slideshow. That's sort of how it is. So give yourself the chance to pick up every contextual breadcrumb Kyle Edward Ball is giving you by investing in some headphones while you watch this, if you can, because that's probably the only way you can pick everything up from it. I recommend watching this if you're afraid of the dark or had terrible nightmares as a kid. This is prime that. This is probably the best experience of that feeling you have when you're a kid experiencing a nightmare or the dark. You know, where you're like, you can't trust your memory, you can't trust the layout of your house because you don't know if you're awake or not. This movie does that better than any movie. It's just fucking weird. It's a fucking weird movie. It's not, once again, I'm not even sure if it's a movie. Like, it's almost like I don't know. It's odd. It's odd, man. It's like a diorama. If you love weird, atmospheric, slow burn horrors, this is definitely up your alley. If you liked this or you like that sort of style of movie, there's a movie called Sator, Sator, on Shudder, It's got the same style of the movie, but it's not as technically abstract, and I enjoyed it, sorry, way more than this. And there's points of that I felt actually paid off, whereas this one I was sort of like, what? If you enjoy hallucinogens and want to have the fucking worst trip of your life, here's that movie. Enjoy that. Tell us all how hell is when you get back, because this movie's fucking crazy. Like, I know there's some people that want to take hallucinogens and watch Alice in Wonderland and listen to Sabbath. If you're one of those, this is a movie that you can do that too. I don't recommend watching this if you like straight down the line horror. This could not be further. Once again, I'm still not sure if it's like I would describe it as a movie, because it seems like it's almost not moving picture. Almost. If you need plot in your horror film, that sounds really mean to say that. It sounds like I'm saying there's no plot. But the plot's not the point of this movie. The point of this movie is like, I'm doing something weird. I want you to come have a look. Come have a look at this weird thing I'm doing. So, very, very thin plot. If plot's like what gets you into a horror, stay the fuck away from this one. If you did like Skinamarink, please, in the comments, tell me why you liked it, and tell me what other movies you like, because I'm fucking fascinated by the love for this. I don't think a movie has audibly made me say, what? When the credits roll. Like, seriously, I was like, is this the end? Like, is there any more? I had to Google what the fuck happened. I wasn't sure what happened in the movie, and I watched the whole thing like a hawk. Happy New Year to all the horror fiends. This is going up very close to New Year's, so I hope you have fun. As always, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next week for another review in 2024. Peace.